Hey guys, 1 second. I'm going to grab a iced tea. Okay. Arnold Palmer. Best stuff. Okay. So, let's see what we got for business here. So, today, we got, let me make this a little bigger here. There we go. What we need to do here is we need to do one, right? We need to create object. Okay. Then number two, what we need to do is we need to render obj. Okay, so we do that. Then once we do render obj correctly, let's see what's next. Make sure mat matrix rotations. Then for physics, actually we can probably switch these two. We can do physics first, and then we can physics first. Physics, we do OB B not B for collision detection. Okay. Then the fifth thing we need to do is scripting. And then 6 level designer. And then somewhere in here we gotta do menu. Gotta add in a menu. So that's what we got. So first, let's do the oh my god, there, the create obj. So basically, what's happening here is make material. Then let's see here, just trying to. So I think what's happening here, you know what? One second. Okay. Okay, that should be much better. That should be much better. Um, so if I do this, the const material mat, basically in other functions such as like game init and stuff, I should be able to create I should be able to create the materials, and then I'll bind them in object creating place. So if this works, just looking here, should be all good. So let's look game init. Okay. So let's see here. I'm just looking around trying to get my bearings here. It's been a hot minute before I've opened up this. Game init, here we go. So right now we have init platforms, and we have init player. Let's do a few things a little differently. Okay. ELUint wireframe shader ID static material player material, and then static material platform material. So the reason again I'm doing these static is so that they are local variables. Open GLUint. Really quick, how do I do make open in full screen? Basically, Let's try this. What full screen? Oh. There. Let's try that. We got full screen. Okay. Cool. Well, in that case, really quick. In that case, let me try opening up the old version and seeing if that will work. Because I think that'd be really sick. Let's try. Hey, look at that. Okay, that's sick. That's sick. I'm convinced. We're doing this now. We're gonna make the game full screen. That's the only way for this to work. Yeah. That's the only way for this game to work. We're not doing no pitiful. Ah. Let's try this again. Oh my god. Let's try this again. There we go. Oh my god. Okay. Well, that's okay. Yo, great to see you, yourself. When do you go to sleep? You still doing gym? I saw your squat video. I still do the gym. I do the gym every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I definitely feel like I've kind of fallen off from the gym, unfortunately. I used to do like 325 squat. Now I can barely get 2 plate going, which is really unfortunate. But I think the wedding was like, a bit ago. But it was a bit ago, but I haven't really quite recovered from that yet. I need to get down and just get that going. When do I go to sleep? I generally go to sleep around, like, if I'm streaming, like 1:30 a.m., 1:30 a.m. But if I'm not streaming, dog, I'm in bed at 9. Okay. Shader ID equals create shader program. We're gonna make a shader program here. we're going to use player vertex.glsl, and then we're gonna do. I know I need to do a solid color shader, but let's not worry about that yet quite yet. To gain something, you have to lose something. Yeah, bro, that is unfortunately the case. Then wireframe shader ID equals the same thing. But instead, we're going to do the platform vertex and the edge glow fragment. GLSL. Okay. Yo, what's up? I'm 26. It's great to see you guys again. I really wanted to do dual stream on Kick, so I can get Kick going up and, I don't know, subs or whatever. But apparently, using OBS can't stream to 2 channels at once by default. I don't know. I don't know anything about streaming. I'm learning on the way. So we'll see what's going on. I want to do something for you guys so you guys can do something like TTS and stuff like that, which I think would be awesome. Just a little more involved. You know. Materials here, right? We're going to create the materials. It's going to do vac3 player color equals this. And then right now if we go to player, player.c, where is the player color? Right here. Yep. I think I need to add, I keep popping in and out. I think I need to add something about the fog color in the shader. We'll get to that. Okay. Then, of course, material create solid. So I'll do material. So player material. Then I'll do solid color shader ID and then the player color. Let me go here. let me put this up in here because I'm convinced that I'm missing the fog shader. Okay. Yeah, that looks about right. Cool. Okay, that should be fixed now. Well, what do you guys have been up to? Any intriguing projects? I think I'm trying to do a game in C, but you know, what you guys trying to do? So you're doing a stabilized rocket short. Yo, I've always wanted to do active control, but don't have the time or the resources for it. Hey, thanks for checking it out. Yeah, that was a while ago. That was a long time ago. Um, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to work out what my code is here. Um, yeah, I did some amateur rocketry. I never got certified or anything. I stopped doing amateur rocketry mostly because the rockets I was building just got too dangerous. I really wish I didn't stop it. My parents were pretty supportive of it. It was fun. You know, if I ever have the land and the time to do it again, I definitely will. It's really fun. I think I actually have quite a bit of rocketry videos on my channel. Mostly trying to make paper rockets. Like so my brother and I plan on getting L1 Yo, that's pretty dope. Yeah, go do it. I back when I had disposable income, I would just buy a bunch of Estes rocket engines, and then just try to make paper rockets work. Eventually, I figured out that center of pressure and your the center of mass and center of gravity and all that stuff had to be correct, which is why they never worked out. Um, I think I have a video there of me trying to make a paper rocket with a Raspberry Pi inside work. It didn't work out. It's just an Arnold Palmer rocket. I made the rocket out of Arnold Palmer cans. Um, You should check that one out. I think that was my best rocket. I had like booster. It was a 2-stage rocket. I took a C65 engine and I hot glued a D12 D11 or D12 on the bottom, the one with no clay cap. It was a booster, right? So I lit it, then it would boost the engine. It went super high. The parachute got stuck and melted. Can't believe it didn't like hit someone's house with that. That definitely would have gone through a roof. Yeah, start yourself. Check some of my rocketry videos on my channel. Um, I think it was cool. I had the land and the resources to do so. Last project is drawing a triangle and an FPS environment, and now I am doing competitive programming. Are you doing like coding game or something? Something like that. Hmm. Solving tons of complex algorithms. What kind of stuff are you doing? Let's see, what is going on with my music? I don't even know what to listen to. Um, no idea. We have on PCB that uses the RP2040 chip and flowing it to log data. We are swapping it out with an RP2030, 2350 next. What is the difference of the 2040 and the 2350? Is it a huge change? Because let me see if I can't pull it up for y'all. Because this was really interesting. Yeah. Let me try to show you guys this. It was really interesting. So basically, if you guys don't know, what he's talking about is the RP 2050 is what's on the Raspberry Pi's Pico. I don't have one on my desk right now, but I have a bunch. Um, and the claim to fame for this thing isn't that it's a very powerful chip or anything, but it has PIO blocks, programmable. It is like it has blocks of silicon that have its own assembly instruction set, which I never really could understand, but Brendan, my old coworker, he figured it out. But you could program individually the GPIO pins in assembly, separate, completely separate from the CPU. And the CPU, I think, is a dual core Cortex Zero Plus, M0 Plus. Yeah. So I never was very impressed with this because I've used the M0 Plus a ton. It has no hardware multiplication. The only multiplication instruction it has, like the only thing other than addition subtraction it has, is I want to see a unsigned 16-bit multiplication instruction. Everything else has to be done in software. Division, higher multiplication, it's horrendous. But it was dual core, so you could do like one core would be drawing to a screen, the other core would be running your code, stuff like that. It was really cool. One of the things this also had or has, let me see if I can't find it. Memory. So the memory map of this, it had a ROM and RAM, obviously, right? But more importantly, I think it had 4 kilobytes. It had 4 kilobytes of USB memory, and you might be, what the hell does that mean? Here we go. If USB is not used, the USB data DP RAM can be used as a 4 kilobyte memory starting at this location. The point is if you were using USB, you could inject code into it. If you could get the chip to jump to this location, 0x50 100,000 or something, if you could get it to jump to that location and you had something mid-send on USB, and then you just now have taken over complete control of your microcontroller. You could remotely hack it like that way. The other thing I really loved, or I love about this, is the Raspberry Pi Foundation was so amazing. They really got their shoes together about how this thing would work. There is, if you ever heard of like Interrupt 21 on Windows, or syscall, or stuff like that, basically where on a modern CPU you set up registers and stuff, and then you do a system interrupt, and depending on the registers, it might print a character to the screen, it might open a file, it might, send to the printer. But it has functions in RAM or in ROM somewhere, in memory somewhere, where you don't have to program them yourself. They're just built into the computer, and that's what this had. This has a very similar setup. I don't remember where you would go on the data sheet to find these. But it was really cool because it had like a fast mem copy. So like, instead of you like doing a manual memory copy between blocks of RAM, you could do a fast mem, and depending on the size of the word you're going to be transferring, you could make it go like twice or 4 times as fast using just a simple syscall. It's like a call 5 or like a BDOS call in CPM. DMA. Is it in here? This is the instruction set. I think multiply. Yeah. There's one multiply instruction, folks. There's one. There's no division. There's nothing. That's why I hate the M0 plus. Memory map. Believe it or not, I used to be able to read this sort of thing. Nested vector interrupt controller. Huh. I'm sorry, I'm just kind of nerding out a little bit here. I don't remember where the system jump table was. Oh well. But yeah, anyway. Moving on. Let's get back to code here. Okay, so basically I just need let's see. There it is. Object. Wait, hang on. Sorry. The RP2350 has an FPU. It's a dual core M33? What? Isn't like the M33 like a straight up ARM chip? What? That's insane. You could run like, you could probably build Yocto for that, right? What? I'm sorry, I'm just kind of shocked. You get to choose between the 2 ARM cores or 2 RISC-V cores at boot. Right, my friend did say that. You can't run all 4 at once, which is really unfortunate. That is very unfortunate, isn't it? Type of core, number of cores. DSP and FPU functions? What? Bruh. Hang on. Can I like buy one of these and we can do like assembly programming for the FPU? What? So I'm just like really single precision. Okay. It's only single precision, but still, that's pretty good, right? What is the DSP extension? the base instructions. Wait a minute. What? ARM v8m? I'm just nerding out here. What? Okay, that's so cool. That is legitimately cool. Okay. Let's go to, okay, now let's get back here. Let's go to platforms.c. Init platforms. Okay. So, init platforms, right? That's what we do. We do material. Okay. And then, of course, okay. Let's just comment all of this away. Okay, here. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to do for int I equals 0, I less than 1, and now 1 is going to be non-platforms eventually. Objects. Vector place. We're going to pop on a new platform. Okay, no, you know what, let's just do it. Create in place. New platform, type platform, platform material. And then of course I need to do object update. No. The object A, B, B. Return 0. Let's see, what are the build errors here? I know I need to change my the way I do things here. Implicit declaration of, what is this in? Collision. Oh my god. All these. Let's try this. Get built. Okay, why is nothing rendering? What the hell? What is going on? Game render. Render state play. Clear color. Look at. Let's draw the player here. Let's see if this does anything. Am I getting there? Okay. Step into. Okay, now we're debugging things here. Huh. What is going on? Why is this not working? Okay. Hmm. You know what? This is getting extremely complicated. Let me take all of these. I'm gonna cheat here a little. We're gonna use some AI only because I am really kind of losing it. Okay, I'm gonna go to Ren here. I'm gonna copy. Yeah, it's not so much that it's too complex. I think it's just I'm kind of losing my mind. I I'm not working on this every day like consistently, so I just I have a really hard time remembering like what's what. Um, let me do batch file to add txt to the end of every file keeping its original extension. Oh, is that what it is? Okay, here we go. Hang on, what's going on? NA dot T Okay, here we go. Um, okay, this is not quite what I wanted, but we're getting close. Hmm. Let's try that. No, here we go. Sorry, I'm not focusing on chat or anything right yet. Ask AI how to prompt AI. Yeah, I know. Sometimes we got Patrick using AI before GT6. Okay, so to yourself, you haven't seen some of the other streams where I just vibe code straight up, just BS. But yeah, let's okay. Full file name. So let's do NA extracts the file name without its extension. Let's try that. Okay. Hey guys. Wow. As you can see, I'm failing miserably doing this stuff. Okay. Yeah, what is this BS? The reason I have to make these text files is because the reason to make them text files is because Gemini does not accept anything other than text files. So let me go here. Okay. Let me do this. Okay. You are a master C coder and extremely knowledgeable in OpenGL 3.3. Larger PC spec is running smooth Well, thank you very much. It's a Ryzen. It's a Zen 3. It's a Zen 3 3950. So it's like the first 16 core, I think. One of the first 16 core. Yeah, it's a from I built it like 2019, and then the GPU is 6900 XT, and I had got 80 gigs of RAM. 3950. Yep, 3950. And you got 80 gigs of RAM. I got so much RAM because I use a lot of local models. Very knowledgeable in OpenGL 3.3. Attached, I have attached a game that I am working on, and I just refactored the code to use the object create in place and the draw object functions to agnostically draw any object passed into the pipeline. I also have refactored it to use the material struct instead of a straight shader ID because I want the pipeline to agnostically render an object with its attached shader and uniforms. Yeah, 80 gigs of RAM. So basically, I have a lot of local large language models that get stored in RAM. So it's just a lot faster to use. Stuff like that. It was a good price too. I also probably don't ever need to buy more RAM. Right now, the window. Before I do any of this, yeah, bro. Funny story. When I bought the 6700 XT, my GPU, I bought it in like 2021, and it was at the fucking peak of the mining craze. So I bought it for $1,400 because I was convinced that the price would never, ever, ever go down. 2 weeks later, it went down to $700. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Okay. That didn't work. Right now the window cleared. Buy high, sell low, bro. That's the way to go. Yep. The correct background color. But it seems that neither the player nor the sample one singular platform I have in there is rendering. What is going on? And then if we go here, upload file, we can attach all these files Okay, so study yourself. This is something called prompt engineering, and I highly recommend doing it. You have to, even though the AI knows everything, you need to put it into a state where it believes it knows everything. Exactly, MC26. It needs to believe. You need to tell it it's a master, and you need to tell it that like it will not back down from a challenge because the AI will backtalk you. It's incredible. The AI will just straight up refuse. Sometimes it'll be like, nope, it's too complicated, can't do it. Like, won't do it. But if you threaten it or tell it that it is your superior, or sorry, that you are the superior and it is your subordinate, and you said do everything you say, then it will work. Now, people will say that's inhuman or whatever, but dude, this isn't human. Okay, this is not human. What model? I'm using Pro. Okay. Let's see what it says. I have totally screwed up. That's a lot of code. Oh, God. Okay. It makes a huge difference. Honestly, it really does. No problem. I'm now like the AI guru at work. I now like make it replace my job. Okay, let's all look at what's going on here. So of course, this is a classic and very common situation in a big refactoring. You've done a great job to creating a more data-driven and scalable rendering system. The good news is that you just a couple small but crucial fixes away from seeing your object on screen. Let's break down what is happening. So the core problem, there are two main issues preventing anything from rendering, both stemming from the refactor. The model matrix is uninitialized in your new draw object. Okay, you declare a mat 4, but you never initialize or populate it with the object's position, rotation, and scale. That'll do it. It contains garbage data from the stack. When you garbage matrix sent to the vertex shader transforms the vertices to random, unpredictable locations, almost certainly far outside your camera's view. Vertex attributes are not being linked correctly in the object creating place. The call to GL get attribute location use G. Oh, I didn't refactor it to use the material struct. The correct shader ID is now inside the material it's passed in. This means the vertex attribute isn't being found and the GPU doesn't know how to interpret your vertex buffer data. That will do it. Fix 1. Construct the model matrix and draw object. Did I just not? Hang on. Did it just straight up just fucking not? Excuse my French, but that's incredible if I didn't. An object.c. If I go to platforms, no, I totally didn't do it. Okay, yeah. Okay, I don't know why I totally forgot to do that. Whoops. So, let's see, I do the identity, I translate, I'll do rotations later on. And then you scale. Okay. Okay. And then these are the thingies. The vertex shader is taken care of. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Okay. Now it says to use the correct shader ID for vertex attributes. In object create in place, you need to get the attribute location for the shader ID stored in the material struct, not the uninitialized shader. Well, where's that? What am I... JavaScript. I hate JavaScript, but that's just a a correction. We use JavaScript at work actually a little bit, and it is amazing. It truly is. It's very versatile. Des would actually be the better guy to ask. You can ask him on the Discord. But I'm not, in terms of like making applications, I do not know enough to speak on it. Right? Yeah, no, the quirks are just kind of horrendous. Oh, here we go. So if I go to create in place, and here, yeah. There we go. Now it says recommendation, you should now remove the shader program shader from the object to avoid confusion in the future. The material now owns the shader ID. Okay. Now correct the ABB logic. This won't fix your rendering, but it will break your collision detection later. The max corner should be calculated by adding half size, not by subtracting it. Whoops. Okay, well, let's do that. I like the models now. Like, look, I didn't even ask it. I didn't even ask it to look at that, but it found that problem. The corner, the max corner. There we go. What is the save all? Control Shift S. When it does that for me, it just corrects things that aren't even wrong. Really, what model? MC26. What model are you using? Well, it works, kind of. Let's look at the. the free OpenAI ones. Well, if you look here, I'm using Gemini 2.5 Pro. Are you sure you're not using any of the other ones? You know what? I'm gonna cheat a little bit here. Okay, the platform now renders. The color is blue, but I want it to be green, probably mixed up colors in that refactor. And the player still doesn't show. Can you check to make sure the player is in bounds and the shader is attached correctly to it? I just want to get through the sticking point and then I'll get back on track to working on this myself. Investigating color context. Did you forget where you defined the line color, lol? I did kind of forget where I defined the line color. Do you remember where I defined the line color? I did it in the material, didn't I? But no, right, material. No, it's OBJ, isn't it? Neon wireframe glow color. Where did I set this up? Hang on. I'm losing my mind, guys. I'm not even drinking. What? Guys, I know what I'm looking for. I'm looking for like an array of three colors. It's blue, and I want green. I could have sworn I wrote in green. Fog color, glow color. Where is this glow color? I'm losing my mind. Oh my god. Okay, let's see. The platform is blue because it's actually being rendered with a player's fragment shader Oh. Wait. It's being rendered with the player's fragment shader. That shouldn't be right. What? What? Why is it? What? Is it this? You saw the color. Well, it's one of it's platform glow. RGB. This should be green though, right? RGB 0.1 for red, 1.0 for green, 0.8 for blue. It should be a blue-green, should it not? Wait. Wait, is it not? Hang on. Am I just... We have a retard. Retard alert. Retard alert. Okay. That's exactly what the problem was here. Let's try this again. There we go. Okay. Me. Fixed player fragment uses a uniform set of fixed to use a uniform set of hard-coded color. This will make your material system work as intended by incidentally to fix the platform's color. Yeah. I'll get into that. The missing player. Initialize physics state. The core reason for the players not showing up is settled by classic bug relating to initialization order. Oh, thanks guys. I'll send you the invoice. Yeah. $3. $3.50. You correctly call the create in place for the player. This is set. 1 second. Okay. Yep. Send that to what? Yep. Test initial position. However, in a player function, which is a physics struct like velocity acceleration. Wow, I'm like just losing my fucking bananas, dude. So, because what it's saying is I have init player, but if you go to init player, it also sets up the player's physics. And I am no longer setting up the player's physics. Cool. This is stuff I could probably just figure out on my own. I'm just going to copy this, and I'm going to put this in game init. Cool. Hey. Look at that. I can probably just do something like freaking, I gotta like rearrange everything. So then I'm just going to take this. And one more thing, does the code editor matter? Like, I'm just thinking of Visual Studio to NeoVim. What are you using? I'm on Windows and I'm using CodeBox. You don't have to use CodeBox. Go ahead, use whatever you want. The editor's fine. The reason I don't use Visual Studio nearly as much anymore is because Visual Studio has the AI baked in so hard, it's just horrendous. It is actually horrendous to use. AI is wonderful, it's a wonderful tool, I just don't want it slammed in my face all the goddamn time. Yeah, I just don't. Notepad, yeah, I use Word. Why is the... Why is it... I feel like the player is dropping right through. Easy export. Google Sheets is a good second. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's close this now. Let's see here. Did Gemini ruin your collision detection? I don't think it did. I might not have just enabled, I just might not have actually done my due diligence and actually put in my collision detection. Yeah, I didn't. Okay. Yeah, I gotta do some bullshit here, I think. Um, so I want to include collision rate. So let's look here. So we have this done. We have render object done. Physics is what we're doing right now. Okay. Okay. There we go. So let's get back to this. So what I need to do here is, and then after this, I do, which I do have, I need to do like set up menus, because I want to do a main menu and options menu. I want to be able to use like a controller with this game. I think that'd just be sick. Game state, current state equals game state. Whoop. Move into function. Looks about good. Let's try it. I don't think I think I just straight up didn't put in. Do you see that? I jumped. Look, so I can move left and right? It's fading away into the distance just right. It can fall off. Here, let me... And I can't jump because I'm off a platform. But let me jump. Okay. Let's see, where is before I do things, let me where is my play fragment? Color. Gotcha. Okay. I have it. I have instead of a hard-coded color, I'm now using the uniforms being sent in. So that's good. That's good. Let me search here. One second. Oh my god. I need like a phone stand here. Hey guys, this is Milo. He's very annoying and he's at my door all the time. Hey Milo, you're an annoying piece of shit. Okay. He wants pets. It's his time. It's his pet time right now. Let's look at renderer. Yeah, he's my kitty. Game in it. I don't know, I keep getting his warnings. Game update. Keeps down. What about the game update, right? Game render state play, game reshape. No. I'm sorry, I'm being a little. Here we go. Handle player input. This is where I jump. Jump force. Ow. I don't know if you can hear him. I slap him. He loves. Look, I'm slapping his butt, and look at the tail. It's staying right here. He loves it. He can't get enough of it. That's me slapping his ass, slapping his rump, like this. He loves it. I'm not holding him down. Well, thank you, so yourself. I don't know quite what you're referring to, but yeah. Jump force. Why do I have jump force to 250? Let's try that. Look, it's a little cute jump. See, it's a little cute jump. It's a little cute jump. Okay, let's do 10. That is so big. Is it like? It shouldn't be like a log or anything. Okay. Slide speed, forward speed. Let's do. Like, isn't that, oh, that's so dope. That's so dope. That's so, oh, yes. I'm so stoked, guys. We got it. We got it. Look, it's still going. It's still going. It's still going. Wee. Bye. Finally, it left the rendering space. Okay, so. What? There. Okay. So we got physics done. Let's see if we can't change AABB to OBB. And then what we're going to do is we're then going to make the camera follow the player. I want the camera to sort of like follow the player behind it and be locked. I want the player to be locked like center low to the screen, and the world will jump up and down and around. MC26, what is my experience writing parsers? Not very good. I do have a few streams on my channel of me trying to make an assembler for the Altair 8800 for the Intel 8080. I never got it working. I vibe coded Python to work on the Altair 8800, which is a 40-year-old computer, which I think is fucking hilarious. 50-year-old computer, and it runs MicroPython essentially now with like, yeah. But beyond that, no, I haven't done anything with parsers. Okay. So let me look up AABB access line bounding box and oriented bounding box. World's coordinates. Well, OBBs can be rotated to better fit the shape of the object they enclose. Okay, so basically, yeah, if I only do squares, like that are in plane with the world, this will be fine. Let me not do that quite yet. I don't think that's needed. So let's do now. The new thing here is going to be follow camera. Scripting. No. Rotate gravity. World camera, because those are going to be three separate things. So basically, if this is the box that's going down the line, right? I have a big platform that it's going on, right? Stuff like that. It's going this way. Maybe I want gravity to pull from this way. So then down as the block moves, and if I jump, the block will fly in this direction. So that's what the gravity will do. Then the world will be like this. I could have a platform going like this, okay? But then have another platform like this. Right, and you got the little box going on over here. He's moving this way. But I'd have a platform over here. So then when I get to a certain z coordinate, the world will rotate around, and then this will be the new z. So the world will rotate. You will still be going straight no matter what, but the world can rotate around you. Now what's going to have to happen is at this plane, this right here will have to be origin. So I'm going to rotate, boom, the world's going to rotate in a new, and then the every time I hit a new plane, the world will rotate around that new origin. In camera, camera's pretty easy. Basically, if I'm going down the track like this, right? I'm going down the track like this into infinity. The whole world will rotate but so will the player. That's what I want. So the camera can rotate, the world can rotate, and the gravity can rotate, all independently of each other. Okay. That's what I want to do. Okay, here we go. Let's try to do this. I think what I'm gonna have to do is if I go to renderer, So I need to change the camera position and to look at and maybe the up. I need to change that. Okay. Yeah, I need to do a new position here. You know what? Let's just try it. Let's try that. Whoa. Let's see. It's looking in the wrong direction. Is it this? Oh, am I looking at the origin? I should be looking at... Are you saying I should be looking at the player's position? I'm saying 26. You are like goated, my guy. Hang on. You might be onto something. MC 26, what's up? What? Oh, right. Yeah, MC26, go ahead. That's... Whoa. Also, the cube is totally broken. Look at that. Whoops. What? Okay, the fog. Whoa. That's so cool. I mean, that means everything is so broken, but oh, okay. This is interesting. I mean, we're getting somewhere with the game. I was looking long position. We're going to take it as one. No, MC26. You are correct. This isn't quite what I wanted it to do. Well, okay, because watch this. If I want to be closer to the player, but watch what happens if I'm closer to the player. That's so cool, isn't it? I don't know why my winding is so trash. Ooh, it's so trippy. Set the look rotation once. Not in a loop. Hang on, I'm sorry. I'm sure you're right. I'm just trying to conceptualize. It's late for me. I'm just trying to conceptualize what you're saying. The problem is my player is going to move around the screen, no? I think what I want to do... Yeah, I want to track it to the player. And like a little bit, like I want to track it to the player, but like a little bit below. And then the player will be, that will be the center of the screen and the world will move around it. Set the X pose. That's it. This is exactly what I want. This is exactly what I want. That's so trippy. Yeah, so see like how this I did this in OpenGL 2.1, so it's totally different. So the other version is the OpenGL 2.1 implementation that I wrote first, but it's kind of shit. Um, and it basically the code base was so horrendous, and I couldn't the code base was so horrendous, and I couldn't get it to scale, and I wanted to add things to it, and it just wasn't gonna work out. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Okay. So, can you explain to me, MC26, what is the up vector? So when you do look at, you need the position, the look at position, the up vector. What is the up vector? Like, what is that? Um, I think it's like the roll of the camera. So up is the y-axis, it says. So if I changed the vector, it would go from directly up to some other axis. Why would it care? Is it because the up, you need the look at position? I gotcha. I understand. You can look at any position. Like, look. So if I have a camera, right, and here's a lens, right, okay, and I'm looking out here, you have no clue which way is this rotated. So that's why you must need an up vector. That's why you need it, because literally you need to orient your camera, or else it has no idea what you're even looking at. I mean, it knows what you're looking at, it just won't know what direction on the circle, where on the circle to render it. So, thanks, man. Yeah, MC26. What are you, like some crazy ass game developer? Like, damn, you're good. You're good. Look at me, a noob. Um. So in high school, damn, you got a bright future. Like on no cap, dog, you have a very bright future in coding. I'm here, a college dropout. I finished my first year. Dude, we are close to getting this done. We need to. I'm just gonna add a couple of platforms so that we can like show jumping working and stuff. We got the camera following the player. We got basically all we need to do is basically have world rotation and gravity switching and camera rotation, and then once that's implemented, I truly believe I can create a level editor and get down to business. Obviously the shaders aren't working correctly, so I definitely need to get into that. That's super hard. AI can't really help with that. I mean, it can. It just isn't nearly enough. There isn't nearly as much information out there to scrape for shaders. So that's definitely something we're gonna have to sit down and work out. Um, Basically, let me tell you my shader problem. Let me tell you my shader problem. So what I want is, if this here is a box that's being drawn by OpenGL, right? Okay. So like that's the box being rendered by OpenGL. Okay. What I want How do I? What I want to draw is I want to draw just this. But specifically behind 2. Now, the problem that I'm going to have is backface culling. Because backface culling works by winding. Basically, this is 0, this is 0.1. This is going to be 1, 2, 3. Okay, so then what happens here is when I... Oh my gosh, I need to get my hair cut this weekend. Ooh. So basically what happens is when I render this, I'm going to render triangle 0, 1, 2, and then 2, 3, 0. Okay? So I will hop here, hop here, hop here, then I will hop here. Oh shit. Hop here, hop here. So 0, 2. So that's what that's how you render triangles. But notice that everything is in clockwise rotation. Now say I want to draw this. 1, 2, 3. This is going to be 4 and this is going to be 5. I will still have to render in this direction, okay? But now say I want to do 5, 6, and 7. Well, if I want to, if I render clockwise to every face, that's the back face, so I need to start rendering like this. And this is counterclockwise. And the way to find out if a face is facing you is to see if the winding is clockwise or counterclockwise. If it's counterclockwise, the face is on the back. If it's clockwise, the face is on the front. I think actually technically in OpenGL it's flipped around, but the math still holds the same. So that's the winding problem, which is why the cube isn't being rendered correctly for the player. Should probably fix that. And then the problem I'm having is the shader. See, what a fragment shader does is it renders every single pixel in the entire screen. Okay? Every single pixel. So if I set the uniform color to green and I want to draw this cube, right? Then what's going to happen is it's going to look like this. It's going to look like and it's just going to look solid, completely solid. So unless this is rotating, you can barely tell that that is actually a cube to begin with. So how do I draw the pixels that are only on the edges of the shape? That is what I want to do. Draw only the pixels on the edge of the prism. And that is, well, this is my attempt. Quick and dirty way you can draw the mesh, then draw the wireframe on top with culling enabled. The thing is, I want this to be transparent. Well, yeah, it's. I don't. Basically, what I do right now is if this is a corner, right, I find out which pixels on the surface are like this, okay? Anything in here is not drawn. Anything in here is not drawn. But anything here is green. And not only is this green, supposedly this has a green that drops off in intensity the further from the edge it is. But as you can see, that's not quite what I want. What I want is if this is a corner, right? I want a internal tube okay, that somehow gets blended together, and the center is bright, and then the outside drops off in glow intensity. But then I'm like, that means I have to essentially virtually draw a tube object based on the angle of the surface to the camera. How the hell am I gonna do that? That's eventually what I want to do. So as you can see, as you can see, the edges of the, so do you see how they sort of like fade off into the distance? And then the back like surfaces aren't correct. That's what's, yeah, stuff's happening. Stuff is happening. Okay. I also just realized, yeah, I don't know why the pixels are getting stretched. Maybe it's because the scale isn't being taken in consideration. Because so the way I draw these platforms is I have, you know, X, Y, Z location, and I have basically a cube, a unit cube. And it's drawn height, width, and length via GLM scale. Okay, I'm scaling the object, which is probably not being passed into the shader, so I'm still drawing a unit cube shaded and then stretched. Exactly, the text chords are for a square, so basically I probably need to either change that fundamentally, or I need to somehow pass in the scaled coordinates into the shader, and then that'll fix itself. I also realize what's happening is, well, no, the camera should be following the player, and the camera position is being passed into the shader. It's a question for another day. Well, point is, I have an engine. So that's cool. I don't know why the player is fogging out at like a hard distance. So that's fun. That's interesting. That's probably a bit more of a core problem to the shader. Okay, so up next is, I guess, fix the shaders. Maybe not make them perfect, just at least fix the scaling problem. Then enable, basically create an array or a list of planes to rotate the world and flip gravity. Then add in the scripting to that, and then create a level editor. How does the fog work? Well, wonderful question. Let me show you. This is what is going on. So first, ignore this bullshit. So I'm getting my camera position, fog color, the glow color tube radius, and glow power. Okay, I'm getting those passed in. So first, some BS that totally doesn't work correctly for the edge. That's fine. At the very end, I want to apply fog, frag color, final color. If I go to apply fog, distance from camera equals length frag position from camera position. I want the fog to start at 15 and the fog to end at 45. Fog factor, smooth step. And then basically I want to mix the final color with the fog color. That's how the fog works. And that works on the edge glow, and it also works on the fog. It works on the player too. I don't know why why do I have the player? What? Okay, that's done. I don't know why I had fog applied to the player. Yeah. Okay. I don't know why I had fog applied to the player. But this is the fog function. I thought because I have distance for cam, it should work fine. Well, okay, so that's sort of fixed, but I should probably fix the scaling of the shader. I'll do that. Then I need to make a list, or like, where does I need to implement rotate gravity at certain planes that you cross. No, sorry. The way it's going to work is at certain z planes that you cross, gravity will flip and stuff. And the world can flip. But because you will continuously move forward, but the world will rotate, the platforms and stuff will rotate around you. So that's how that'll work. We're getting close. We're getting real close. Also, next time, probably like tomorrow night or something, we should sort of look at a nice, like, actual, like, refactor of the code, but not like changing code too much, more just restructure, as in, like, are these functions where they need to be? Do these functions make sense where they are? That sort of thing. So yeah, we'll do that. I gotta head to bed. I gotta work tomorrow morning. It's 1:18 a.m. here. Yeah, I'll head to bed. This has been pretty fun. This is we've got a lot done. We got a lot done, and we're making good work on this. Well, yep. I'll show you streaming tomorrow, and yeah, I will be headed off to bed. See you.